CSST Filters Part 4. This section we want to talk about CSST queries. Those are a list or a library of more complex queries that can be produced by programming staff here, but that are not easily producible by using the filter builder or building a set of conditions in the filter builder. And in many cases, they also allow us to provide for user input of certain parameters like dates or ages or income amounts or poverty levels, things of that nature. So how do you get to those? Well, there's two ways. One is go ahead and use the filters button. It'll pull up the filter builder, as we've discussed in previous sections on building filters. And then there's a button in the lower left corner of that form called CSST Query, cleverly enough. And when you click that, you will get a pop-up dialog of all the CSST queries that are available to you. And let's just pick one here arbitrarily and click Apply. And you see that this one is querying us on age, client age. And we can toggle whether it's greater than or less than a certain value. So if we want to say over 50, greater than 50, and say OK, then that query runs and it more or less instantly provides us a list of the people who are over 50, and we say continue, and that list then is applied to the listing in the grid list on the client's form itself, and you see that we have a filter in effect, and you see that the tooltip shows all clients whose age is greater than user choice. So if I click the filters button again, it removes that filter. And the other way to get at the list of CSST queries without having to go through the filter builder portion of that is simply to use the recall button on the client's form. So if I click recall, I've got two choices here. The first one is recall saved filter set, which we can talk about a little bit later, but those are stored sets of conditions that you as users have produced and saved with a name. So the CSST query is the list that we just looked at, and it pulls up exactly the same list. Now it's worth looking at a few of these. We just ran through the client age one, which is an illustration of how to get a list of people who are either over or under a certain age. There's a number of these that are I guess housekeeping functions would be the best way to describe it. There's one where clients with zero income. We scroll up here. Or income never entered, and you see when you choose one that there's a description down below, and those descriptions are usually pretty detailed. So here we have get a list of all clients who are members of a family where the income is either zero, where the income is zero, and income has not been entered or edited. So if you wanted to see a list of people whose income has never been entered by your data entry people, that would be a good filter to run. There's another one where the zip code is invalid. So if we wanted to see a list of all addresses, all people with addresses where the zip code is either empty or it's not a valid zip code, we could run that. There's another one for duplicated clients. So this will give us running this one would give us a list of all client names where there's more than one entry, more than one client record for that same name, and so on and so forth. So there's quite a variety of different kinds of queries that can be pulled from this list. Another one that's might be of interest is the poverty level. So we click Apply on this, and we see that we have a similar dialog to what we had with age, where we can toggle greater than or less than. And of course then the number is the percentage of poverty level, so we can set that to anything we like. You can choose to include an income code here, which not many of our CSST users are entering income codes, but if you do, you could limit the list to only those people who have income with a certain code. You can choose to use either the current federal poverty guidelines or the previous years, and then click OK, and of course it will run and give you the list. And we now have a list of, what, 2,298 people in our sample data set, many of whom have no income entry, which is why that number is as high as it is, whose income is less than 100% of poverty level. There's another one. Let's click recall, get CSST query, just based on income itself. Client income, there we go. Sorry, it took me a few seconds there to find it. We click apply, and again, we get a very similar dialog, less than or greater than a certain income value. So we want to say, let's say 20,000 here, just to pick an arbitrary number, and it's less than that. Click OK, and we now have a list of 2,300 people in this case whose income is less than $20,000 per year.